Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to the Hindu News Analysis discussion brought to you by ForumIAS for the date 25th March 2023. These are the list of news articles for today's discussion. Aspirants can have a look at it. So for today, we will be covering 5 topics from governance, economics, and polity aspects. Along with this, we will also be covering previous year prelims questions and also mains practice questions. So with this, straight away, let us move to our first news article discussion. First topic, government extends rupees 200 subsidy under PMUI by a year. See, there is a sharp increase in international prices of LPG due to various geopolitical reasons. So to counter that, the government has extended the subsidy of rupees 200 per 14.2 kg LPG cylinder for a year. Importantly, know that this step is taken under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana scheme. So in this context, let us know more about Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana from both prelims and mains angle. See, PMUI is a scheme of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. This scheme was drafted to provide LPG connections to women from below poverty line households. And know that it was launched in the year 2016 in Ballaya, which is located in Uttar Pradesh. If we take the key features, the first is to replace unclean cooking fuels used in most underprivileged households with a clean LPG supply. This is the aim of this scheme. And then families below the poverty line are to be provided with LPG connections with a support of rupees 1600 per connection. The third point is that the oil marketing companies would provide loan options for the new customers to cover the cost of cooking stove and first refill. And finally, another feature is the LPG connections will be issued in the name of the women of households. So this is the feature regarding the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. And if we take the targets, know that initially the target was to install 5 crore new LPG connections by 2019. Then the target revised to increase the LPG connections to 6 crore by the year 2019 to 20. During that time itself, the beneficiaries who are included are BPL households as per the socio-economic caste census. Then all the SC/ST household beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, beneficiaries of PMUI as said before, beneficiaries of Antyodaya Anna Yojana, then forest dwellers, MBC, that is the most backward classes, T and XT garden tribes, people residing in island, and even people residing in river island are beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Since the target set for the year 2019 was also achieved, the government came up with Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana 2.0. where in the union budget for the year 2021 to 22, the government has announced the target of adding 1 crore LPG connections alongside the 8 crore beneficiaries already which the PMUI achieved in the year 2019. Hence, Ujjwala 2.0 aims to provide deposit-free LPG connections to those low-income families who could not be covered under the earlier phase of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. And know that along with the deposit-free LPG connection, Ujjwala 2.0 will also provide first refill and hot plate free of cost to the beneficiaries. And moreover, the migrants would now only be required to submit a self-declaration of their residential address to get the gas connection. This is what Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana 2.0 is all about. Now coming to the significance of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, first is the health. See, research showed that people using solid biomass frequently suffer from headache, nausea, and many skin diseases. And indoor air pollution and acute respiratory illness are also caused by it. So Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, which provides for deposit-free LPG connection, is said to prevent those health impacts of solid biomass fuels. Then second is the women empowerment. See, Ujjwala has empowered women and protected them and their families through the use of clean burning fuel. This is done by helping prevent a significant number of acute respiratory illness and other ailments. The third is regarding the safety. Women going to the forest for collecting firewood are often exposed to health and safety issues, even sexual harassment at that times. So this is considerably decreased as a result of LPG connections. Then fourth point is the economic empowerment. See, the release of LPG connection under the PMUI scheme is said to be in the name of women belonging to BPL family. Also, using LPG saves time for women as they do not have to collect solid fuels and then use it for cooking. So the time saved now can be effectively used in other economic activities. And know that after PMUI coming into implementation, women in many villages formed self-help groups to indulge in community economic activities in their free time. Then fifth point is the environment. There is a definite positive impact on forest cover and the environment from stopping the use of firewood. Then sixth point is the youth employment. See, it will also provide, that is the scheme will also provide employment for rural youth in the supply chain of cooking gas. And employment in the logistics and maintenance services are also an additional benefit of the scheme. Now there are some issues that are concerning the scheme. First is the refill and affordability. See, refilling of LPG gas connection saw a fall in refill from 35,000 in 2016 to just 13,000 in the year 2018. Also, there were several complaints of affordability which was raised as a reluctance of adoption. While the number of LPG connection across India has increased, the use of gas cylinders increased only by a very low margin. Then second point is the behavior limitation. It requires behavioral changes as it is difficult to give up on old age practices of using traditional biomass fuel. This is because of lack of awareness among people regarding benefits of the use of LPG gases. Then the third point is the inactive and corrupt use. See, many inactive accounts were identified, with some accounts bearing false beneficiaries using LPG for commercial and profitable purposes. So if these issues are sorted out, then the significance that I listed above can be effectively gained through the proper implementation of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. So this is all about the scheme. In this article's discussion, we saw about the Ujjwala Yojana from prelims angle, as well as the significance and issues regarding the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana from mains perspective. With this, let us close this topic and move to the next topic of the day. Membership of banned outfit is crime under UAPA, says Supreme Court. This judgment is regarding the UPA Act and the members associated with the banned organization. See, in the earlier judgments, the Supreme Court has said that when an organization or association is banned by the union government using the UPA provision, then the inactive members who continue to remain in the banned organization will not be declared as criminals, because the Supreme Court previously judged that being a mere member and an inactive member in the banned organization, these members will not be knowing the things that are going around the banned organization. So those inactive members shall be left aside of the criminal prosecution. But now in the recent judgment, the Supreme Court took note of the section 3 of UPA, where the union government publicly notifies the news regarding the banning of any organization or association that are said to act against the sovereignty and integrity of nation. So when such news is publicly notified by the union government, the members of those unlawful organizations should have the responsibility in knowing it and relieve themselves from those organizations. And going by this way, the Supreme Court has now clarified that even a mere member of a banned organization will be made criminally liable under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So now let us know more about the UPA Act from exam point of view. See, it is an act that provides for more effective prevention of certain unlawful activities of both individuals and associations. So for instance, it deals with terrorist activities and also for dealing with activities directed against the integrity and sovereignty of India. If we take the applicability of law, The law is applicable to both Indian and foreign nationals, and at the same time it is extended to the whole of India. Besides this provision, the provision of the act also applies to citizen of India outside India, persons in the service of the government, wherever they may be, and persons on ships and aircrafts that are registered in India, wherever they may be. Then, if we take the origin of law, know that the UPA got originated based on the recommendation of Committee on National Integration. This Committee on National Integration and Regionalism was appointed by the National Integration Council. And know that the Constitutional Amendment Act, that is the 16th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1963, is the base for UPA Act, which was enacted to amend the Article 19(2) of the Constitution. The Article 19(2) subsection 2 deals with reasonable restrictions imposed on freedom of speech and expression. This Constitutional Amendment Act empowered the Parliament to impose reasonable restriction in the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India. So, in executing this intention of 16th Constitutional Amendment Act, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act was passed by the Parliament in the year 1967. Coming to the key provisions of the Act, first is declaration as unlawful. See, the Act assigns absolute power to the central government. That is, if the central government is of the opinion that any association is acting against the sovereignty and integrity of India, then by a notification in the official gazette, the central government has the power to declare such organization to be unlawful. And the investigating authority or the agency can file a charge sheet in a maximum of 180 days after the arrest, and provided the duration can be extended further after intimating the court. If we take the section dealing with punishment, it has the death penalty and life imprisonment as the highest punishments. And coming to the amendments of the Act, in 2004 amendment, the Act added Terrorist Act to the list of offences to ban organization for terrorist activities. And know that till the year 2004, unlawful activities referred to actions related to secession or seceding of territory. Following the 2004 amendment only, the Terrorist Act was added to the list of offences. And know that there was also an amendment in the year 2019 where the amendment empowered the central government to designate individuals as terrorists. And know that it empowers the Director General of National Investigation Agency to grant approval for seizure or attachment of property when the case is under investigation by the agency. And finally, the 2019 amendment also empowered the officers of NIA of the rank of inspector or above to investigate cases of terrorism. Earlier, this power to investigate was with the officers of DSP only, that is the Deputy Superintendent of Police only, but the 2019 amendment gave this power to the officers of NIA also. So this is all about the facts with regard to Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. With this, let us close this topic and move to the third topic of the day. Third topic, Lok Sabha approves setting up of GST appellate tribunal. The news is that a finance bill has been passed in the Lok Sabha, and this finance bill is associated with setting up of GST appellate tribunal. So in this line, let us know about GST and the GST appellate tribunal from this discussion. See, the goods and service tax came into implementation in the year 2017, and this move towards one tax, one nation, one tax was one of the most historic indirect tax reforms in India. After due efforts of consensus building for over a decade, GST replaced 17 union and state taxes along with replacing 13 cesses. And now, 6 years down the line, the GST regime has been successful in attaining many of the intended objectives. However, some key challenges still remain to be addressed. What is GST and its key provisions? See, GST is a comprehensive indirect taxation mechanisms where the tax is imposed on the manufacture, sale and consumption of goods and services throughout India. This GST replaced the existing indirect taxes levied by union and the state governments. And know that it is a single indirect tax for whole of the nation, which aims to make India one unified common market. and it is the destination based tax applied on goods and services at the place where final or actual consumption happens. Know that GST is applied to all goods other than crude petroleum, motor spirit, diesel, aviation turbine fuel, natural gas, and alcohol for human consumption. In addition to it, there are four slabs for taxes for both goods and services: 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28% are the slabs for taxes. Different tax slabs were introduced because daily necessities could not be subjected to the same rate as luxury items. Besides, a cess is levied on the higher tax slab of 28% on luxury, sin, and demerit goods. See, the collection from the cess goes to the separate corpus called compensation fund. This compensation fund is used to make up for the revenue loss suffered by the states due to GST rollout. Here you have to know that the states were promised a compensation for the first 5 years if their GST collection falls short of 14% compound revenue growth. This was initiated at the time when the GST came into implementation. And now coming to the GST Council. See, the GST Council is the most important part of India's GST regime. The council is responsible for recommending rates of taxes, period of levy of additional tax, principle of supply, floor level, and bans of taxation rates, etc. And the Article 279 of the Constitution enables the formation of GST Council by the President of India. And now if we take the membership, the Union Finance Minister of India is the chairperson of GST Council, and the ministers nominated by the state governments are the members of GST Council. And know that the council is devised in such a way that union government has 1/3 voting power while the state government has 2/3 voting power. But here decisions are taken by 3/4 of the majority. Then now coming to the GST Appellate Tribunal. See, the GST Appellate Tribunal is the second appeal forum under GST for any dissatisfactory orders that are passed by the first appellate authority. The National Appellate Tribunal is also the first common forum to resolve disputes between the center and the states. Being a common forum, it is the duty of GSTAT, that is the GST Appellate Tribunal, to ensure uniformity in the redressal of disputes arising under GST. And know that it holds the same power, that is the GST Appellate Tribunal holds the same power as the court, and it is deemed to be a civil court for trying cases. And if we take the constitution of GST Appellate Tribunal, first is regarding the national bench and the second is regarding the regional benches. In the national bench, the National Appellate Tribunal is situated in New Delhi, and it constitutes a national president along with 2 technical members. And if we take the regional benches, on the recommendation of GST Council, the government can constitute regional benches as required. And as of now, there are 3 regional benches situated in Mumbai, Kolkata, and Hyderabad. So that is all about the GST Appellate Tribunal. With this, let us close this topic and move to the next topic of the day. Fourth topic, chilling effect. See, on March 23rd, that is day before yesterday, the Surat court declared the opposition leader Rahul Gandhi as guilty and sentenced him to 2 years in jail for a defamation case filed in the year 2019. This editorial section is regarding that only. Before getting into the editorial, let us know what has happened. See, in the 2019 general election campaign in Karnataka, Rahul Gandhi, while speaking, he said, "How come all the thieves have Modi as the common surname?" He said this while referring to the Prime Minister and also Mr. Nirav and Mr. Lalit Modi. Considering such speech from an MP, former Gujarat Minister Purnesh Modi had filed a complaint against Rahul Gandhi. And know that Purnesh Modi here filed a defamation case. So let us see what is defamation and related to criminal defamation. See, in India, criminal defamation falls under section 499 of Indian Penal Code. And defamation is defined as the communication of false statement that harms the reputation of an individual or a person or a group or a product, business, government, religion, or a nation. And know that section 500 punishes the criminal defamation. The person who commits the crime can be punished with an imprisonment for up to maximum of 2 years, or they can also be fined, or both the imprisonment and fine can be imposed. Know that section 499 of IPC also mentions exemptions to criminal defamation. That is, the exception includes claims of truth required for the public good that has to be published. Here, know that the Supreme Court in the Subramania Swamy versus Union of India 2014 case upheld the constitutional validity of IPC section 499 and 500. The court here mentioned the fundamental right to live with dignity and reputation cannot be ruined solely because another person can have their freedom of speech. So in this case, we can infer that Rahul Gandhi do not have the complete freedom in making such statements, as the community with Modi surname also has the fundamental right to live with dignity and reputation. This is all about the defamation. But the additional news is that after getting convicted, the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi now got disqualification notice from the Lok Sabha Secretariat. So for now, he stands disqualified from being an MP. Now let us see how disqualification works. See, disqualification of a lawmaker is prescribed in three situations. First is through the Article 102, subsection 1, then the Article 199, subsection 1 of the Constitution. See, the Article 102 of 1 deals with the disqualification of members of parliament, while the Article 191 of subsection 1 deals with disqualification of MLAs. The ground here includes holding an office of profit, or being of unsound mind, or insolvent, or not having valid citizenship. Then the second ground is of disqualification is in the 10th schedule of the Constitution. This provision provides for the disqualification of the members on grounds of defection. The third prescription is under the Representation of People Act of 1951. This law provides for disqualification for conviction in criminal cases. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is disqualified under this provision only. The disqualification of an MP convicted for an offence can happen in two instances. First is if the committed offence for which one is convicted should be listed in the section 8 of 1 of the RPA Act. This includes offences such as promoting enmity between two groups, or offence of bribery, or offence of undue influence, or doing acts prejudicial to maintenance of harmony, etc. And the second is the offence if sentenced for a period of 2 years or more. See, if the lawmaker is convicted for any other offence but is sentenced for a period of 2 years or more, then they could be disqualified under the Representation of People Act. Section 8 of 3 of the Representation of People Act mandates that an MP can be disqualified if he or she is convicted and sentenced for 2 or more years. Taking this provision into account, Rahul Gandhi was disqualified from being an Lok Sabha MP because he was sentenced to a maximum imprisonment of 2 years. But however, the section also states that disqualification takes effect only after 3 months from the date of conviction. So within that period, the convicted MP can file an appeal against the sentence before the High Court. But here in our case, the Lok Sabha Secretariat has issued an order stating the disqualification of the convicted MP. So the legality of such move is questioned now. Besides this, the editorial talks about both the conviction and sentence. Here, the editorial questions the interpretation of Rahul Gandhi's statement. That is, it asks whether the remark made by the MP defames the 3 people he mentioned, or did it defame the people with surname Modi altogether. Secondly, the editorial highlights the maximum sentence that is awarded for this criminal defamation. It says laws in India give trial courts certain discretion to decide the sentence for the case. But here the trial courts should exercise its jurisdiction by considering the gravity of the crime committed. The editorial questions whether attacking an unclassified set of people with a general remark amount to defamation. And it goes on to say that the correctness of the judgment, however, will be decided on appeal. So these are the two things that the editorial is talking about. And before concluding it, the editorial says that it is an old democratic practice where questioning authority was considered a grave crime. But now, under a modern democracy, defamation should not be treated as a criminal offense at all. So this is what is said in the editorial section. With this, let us close this topic and move to the last topic of the day. Fifth and the final topic a chilling remark and the price to pay. This is a very short topic discussion. Let us know about this topic only from exam point of view. See, the Union Law Minister has made a controversial statement labeling the retired judges who question state policies as anti-Indian elements. So, this article written by the senior advocate of Supreme Court gives an answer to the statement made by the law minister. Firstly, the author tells that such statement from the law minister are defamatory and raise larger issues that touch the core of our polity. That is, by mentioning the retired judges who question the actions of executives as anti-India elements, the law minister is threatening the service of judges post-retirement. And the law minister adds on to say that those judges who question the state policies will have to pay their price in future. Here, the opinion section says such words put forward by a law minister is a matter of grave concerns for citizens. And secondly, the author reminds that judges who demit judicial offices do not cease to be citizens of this country. That is, judges post retirement will have the fundamental rights as a citizen of this country. Hence, the retired judges will have the right to free speech and expression. And moreover, the retired judges also have the duty to speak up when they find legislature or executive or even the judiciary making some unconstitutional actions. So the executives should not make any attempts to warn or threaten the retired judges from expressing their opinion. And the author is confident in saying that such threatening calls will not discourage strong and bold former judges in expressing their opinion against the executives. But such a call from the law minister is said to have negative impacts. For example, if the individual, be a citizen of this country, thinks that making an opinion against the government would endanger him or her, then there would be no criticisms on the government's move. As a result, action of the state will go unchecked. This would only lead to autocratic rule. Here, the author highlights the recent incident that took place. See, the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, in her address to the Supreme Court, had raised the issue of under trial prisoners in the country. The President, in fact, narrated her experience on meeting the under trial prisoners and know that only then the issue of under trial prisoners who still remain in the prison even after getting a bail came into light and got widely discussed in the public. So, only after that speech, the court directed, that is the Supreme Court directed the jail authorities to submit the details of such prisoners to the state governments. Then the state machinery turned towards that issue to solve them. So, here the author is coming to say that criticisms or expressing one's opinion should not be prevented at any cost as it will only lead to effective problem solving. And finally, the author concludes by saying that Prime Minister should take steps in preventing his political executives from making such controversial statements so that any further damage to India's constitutional ethos can be mitigated. So, this is the opinion which is put forward by the senior advocate of Supreme Court. So, with this, let us close the news articles discussion and move to the previous year prelims question of the day. See, the two questions that we are going to discuss now has appeared in the year 2021 in civil services exams, preliminary exams. So kindly listen. First question, consider the following statements. The first statement says the governor of the RBI is appointed by central government. Second statement, certain provisions in the Constitution of India gives the central government the right to issue directions to the RBI in public interest. Third statement, the governor of the RBI draws his power from the RBI Act. So, which of the above statements are correct? The options given are option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 1 and 3 only, option D 1, 2 and 3. See, the governor as well as the deputy governors of the RBI are appointed by the central government. So, the first statement is correct. The second statement says Constitution of India gives central government certain powers to issue directions to the RBI. This is wrong, because there is no such provisions in the Constitution, and as per the section 7 of the RBI Act, the central government gives direction to the banks after consulting the governor of the bank. So the second statement is wrong. If we remove second statement alone, we can come to the conclusion that option C is the correct answer. So let us see the third option also. See, the governor and in his absence, the deputy governor has the power of general superintendence and direction of the affairs, and only the governor as well as the deputy governor of the RBI shall exercise powers which are drawn from the RBI Act. So this is also correct. So the answer for this question is option C, 1 and 3 only. Now coming to the second question, consider the following. First, foreign currency convertible bonds. Second, foreign institutional investment with certain conditions. Third, global depository receipts. 4, non-residential external deposits. Which of the above can be included in foreign direct investments? This is the question. And the options given are option A 1, 2 and 3, option B 3 only, option C 2 and 4, option D 1 and 4. See, this is a direct fact-based question. In the capital account of the balance of payment, we can classify the capital account into investments, borrowings and external assistance. So the investments includes equity flows in the economy as well as foreign currency convertible bonds, foreign institutional investments with certain conditions, and also global depository receipts. So all these three options, 1, 2 and 3 statements will come under the foreign direct investments. So the answer for this question is option A, 1, 2 and 3. And know that the non-residential external deposits are debt creating flows in the balance of payment accounts, and therefore they are not part of foreign direct investments. So the correct answer for this question is option A, 1, 2 and 3. With this, we have come to the end of the prelims question discussion. Let us see the mains practice question. In light of the recent developments in legislation related to criminal defamation, briefly discuss the evolution of right to free speech. The aspirants can take note of this question. You can write the answers and post it in the comment section for peer review. So with this, we have come to the end of the news articles discussion and previous year prelims and mains question discussion. With this, let us wind up our discussion. If you can understand the way I am teaching and if you can understand the concepts well, please like, share, comment and subscribe to ForumIAS Academy in various social media platforms for further update. Thank you.